you're writing books or poems, whether you're writing essays or novels, okay, that's art. Visual art, that's paintings and drawings and sculptures, physical art. Audio art, that's music. Might be performing arts if you're a performer, a singer, dancer, a drummer, percussionist, keyboardist, musician, etc. So all of these are considered art. Art, painting, sculptures, all of that is considered art. Even what used to be called graffiti on the wall, they've actually looked at that and redefined it as creative placemaking, where the wall art is being honored. We were awarded a grant from the Arts Council to do a mural. So if you were to ride down Depot Street, where my coffee shop is, you'll see a full covering of the front wall, and that's a mural. That's art. If you go inside my coffee shop, you'll see something else that was grant funded. It is the Black history of the neighborhood. It's an installation. It costs a few $1,000s, about $10,000, maybe I think it was 11,000, but it was covered by grants. All right. So when you think about arts, it's more than what you think it is. It's the person that does the art, the person who manages the art, the person who produces the art. Also, it includes the instruments and the tools for art. So if there's a musician and they need equipment, the equipment is considered part of the supplies for art. So if you are a community center and you want a drum circle, or you want a recording studio, or you want a drum line, or you want a marching band, all of the things that you need in order to do what you do is considered art. The director, the rehearsals, the space, the uniforms, the equipment, the instruments, the travel, the buses, the insurance, the gas, the food while you're traveling, the tour, the hotel while you're traveling and staying overnight. If you have to take the kids to Ryan's, so they can eat as much as they want and not, you know, drive you crazy with different orders at Wendy's and Chick-fil-A. Like, all of that is considered art. It is a normal and expected expense, and it can be covered by grants. If you are a church, your musician department, you could rebrand it as a community arts program. And if you do that, then you open up your rehearsals to the community, you open up your practices to the community, and now the director's salary can be covered, the instruments can be covered, the equipment can be covered. If you do a Black History program, that's considered cultural arts, it can be covered. You can do a summer festival, that can be covered. A summer music camp, that can be covered. You can take them to symphonies and orchestras and plays and musicals, and that will be covered. And so we have to think in a different way in order to make sure that everything is covered. All right. So when you think about arts, I want you to think really, really big and really broad. Arts are actually one of the types of grants that can go to individuals. Now, you'll always need to look at the eligibility section, but most of the time, most grants say this grant we do not give to individuals, but art is a different thing. I've seen where there were arts grants during COVID that gave grants to artists who had to cancel their shows. Arts grants are one of the types of grants that do go to individuals. So you always want to check. All right. Now, some people only look at national grants like National Endowment of the Arts, the NEA. And you can do that because it's available and it's out there. But those are very competitive. And if you go to NEA, you'll be competing against huge museums and everything with artifacts. But there's some local councils and state agencies that you can apply to. So you want to reach out to your state representative, ask them about any state art agencies. But in Asheville, for example, we have Asheville Area Arts Council. So you can look at your city and see, is there an arts council in the city? Um, you also can look at the North Carolina Arts Council and fellowships. When you want to find out who gives money to the arts, this is what you do. You look at the museum. You go to the museum online. You can go there in person, but you can get there online and look at their annual report. Go to the back of the annual report and look at the organizations that give. Those organizations and those people who give to those art programs are likely to give to your art program. All right. Now that's a big cheat code that a lot of people overlook. And even though I told you, most people won't do it. It's okay. You can't say I didn't tell you. And when people wonder how I get things and how I find things, and I tell them, it's like, oh, you did. Yep, I did exactly what you didn't want to do. It's real interesting how people want a certain outcome, but they don't want to do the thing to get the outcome. That's fine. But it really is. Um, it's not easy, but it is simple. It is simple. The reason it's not easy is because most people quit. Most people got too much quit in them. Um, but it is simple. All right. So you want to look at arts councils. All right. And you want to look at what they're interested in funding. Are they interested in funding art installations, art performances, art supplies, art demonstrations? What are they interested in funding? And based on what they're interested in funding, you decide, are you willing to do a thing that they're willing to fund? All right. Next place that you can find grants for arts are corporate and business sponsorships. So if you did, we're going to do a poetry slam and we got a grant to do a poetry slam. But when we do this poetry slam, we're going to have sponsorships. People who want to put their logo on it, people who want advertisement, who want placing um in our poetry contest, poetry slam. And so we'll sell sponsorships. All right. For example, banks will sponsor exhibits, breweries will sponsor murals, um, literacy agencies will sponsor, especially if it's family or child friendly. All right. The next place that you can find grants for artists are community foundations. Now, our city, every region has a community foundation. If you want to locate the community foundation, you just go to Google, type in the name of your city and community foundation. All right, and that'll tell you what the community foundation is. They often have small, flexible artist funds. And you just have to look on their website. And if you don't see anything, call and ask them because your community foundation will have mid-size grants from $1,000 to $5,000 that can help with art programs. All right. Maybe you're planning something for the fall and you need money to cover the music and the DJ and the performances. That is art. Okay. The next thing that you can do is look for residences and fellowships. These are places that have already funded an artist, and that artist needs a place to do their residency. So we do an event called the Black Legacy Awards. It happens during Black History Month. It is a demonstration of art. Now, when we get an intern or residence or a fellowship person, we assign them to that thing, and their job would be to arrange all of the art. Okay. That's you of being allowed to have somebody working for you, but you're not paying them. It's part of their classwork, it's part of their course credit, or it's part of their fellowship. Okay. Now, when you are an artist or you're connected to an artist and there's some type of emergency that happens, there is money set aside for artists. It's called emergency relief funds. And organizations like CERF, they give quick grants when artists face crisis. So if you're an artist or you're connected to an artist, somebody who is musical or artistic, they need to know about the CERF. They can go and get on their list and be aware that if a crisis happens, that's one place that gives quick turnaround grants to artists. All right. Now, I keep forgetting. Well, I didn't forget, but I'm telling y'all a whole lot more than what other people would tell you for free for public. So, in public. So, what I want you to do is make sure you take advantage of this information. If you or somebody you know is into the arts, they're a writer, they're a performer, they're a musician, they're a singer, they're instrumentalist, they're a sculptor, a poet, and you're interested in helping them. Just go take a look at some of the grants that are available for them, and it doesn't hurt you at all to just tell them about it. All right, sharing is caring. Oh, and by the way, I'm Jay Hackett. I'm your grant expert. I've been doing this for about 20 years. I've helped raise over $107 million in grants for organizations, small and large, national and local, fat and skinny, just black and white, anything. And I'm super excited. My goal this year is to generate another $100 million. So if you know somebody that will benefit from this information, go ahead and tag them. If this is your first time, don't let it be your last time. We're here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 for lunch and learn. It's real quick, but it's power packed with information. And then if you have any questions, make sure you ask them. Um, don't pretend to know things you don't know. If there's anything you don't know, anything you want to know, just speak up when we have Q&A, and I'll be glad to answer all your questions. All right. Now, this is what I want you to do. I want you to kind of think about where you have been looking for grants, um, and you probably have not looked at your arts council yet. So I want you to at least identify your arts council. At least identify your arts council. I want you to do that right now. Identify your arts council and go online, look and find your arts council and see what's available. If you see the available grants, click on it. If you don't see the available grants, look to the contact us page, and look for the staff. When you look at the staff, you want to see who are the program managers or the grant managers. That's normally the title of the person you want to connect with. All right. So if there are grants available, you can ask them about those grants. If the grants are not available, you want to still contact that person and ask them about any grants for artists that they have, either now or coming up in the future. All right. Well, that's our time for today. I'll have time for just a few questions before we go. Today, I wanted to identify places where grants are. If you identify them, then on Wednesday, when we get back together, what we'll be able to do is show you how to get the money. Once you find out where it is, the next thing is to look at how to get it. So on Wednesday, we'll be repackaging your arts programs, so I can show you how to phrase and frame what you're doing, to make sure that it's all covered and funded. All right. Do y'all have any questions?
I have a question, Coach.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm
So I was
sorry.
talking with my church over the weekend about
Mhm,
the different programs that you've been talking about,
mhm,
and told them how to get grants. They'd had to change the wording from, church things to community-based things.
mhm.
But one of the questions that popped up is, since the church is, 501(c)(3), do they need a separate 501(c)(3) to apply for different things, or should they be applying underneath the church's 501(c)(3)?
They don't need it, but I advise people to do it anyway. And this is why. Some grants will say we don't give to churches, period. Other grants will say we don't give to churches um, doing their religious activity, and those two statements mean two different things. So for some organizations, they just won't deal with the church, period. But for others, they'll say, "Well, we'll give you money for your arts program, so long as your arts program is open to the community." You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I
Um,
was worried about kind of like the first one where we said like they don't give them to churches. So that's why I
yeah,
was asking, should
that's
they
why it's
do a
good
whole
to
new
have
different?
That's why it's good to have a separate one with a separate website that's only about your outreach. And what I actually encourage people to do, take all of your outreach and put it under the nonprofit so that all of your auxiliaries and all of your outreach can be covered by grants. And that's what I describe in the book. I think you have it, The Funded Church.
I believe so. I bought pretty much all the stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Was that
Um,
Deborah?
yes. I wanted to ask you, if you wanted to open up if someone wanted to open up a group home for the youth,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Would that go under the nonprofit as well?
Yes. Now, some people do group homes, and they do it for profit. That's fine. You can do either or. Group homes can be funded by insurance. Some of them are funded by social services, and some of them are grant funded. When I've had transitional homes, we actually use multiple funding. We did not charge insurance, but they were for adults. and the adult paid a program fee, and grants paid for the housing. So we were able to not only have housing, we had vans, we had staff, we
Right.
were able to drive people to work, et cetera, et cetera. So when you look at your group home, you want to think about all of the things that you need and how you can use grants for each of those things. In order to qualify for the grants, the thing has to be a 501c3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay,
So
thank you.
you can do it for profit, but if you do it for profit, you can't get nonprofit grants. You would only be allowed to get for-profit grants. And for-profit grants are smaller and they're more competitive. Nonprofit grants are bigger and they're
Mhm.
not as competitive.
Right, thank you.
Okay. All right. And I think, well, I know I did a training a few weeks ago on grants for housing programs.
Mm.
I'll go back and take a look at that. Um, I think it was three sessions. So we went over how to set it up, how to fund it, and the grants that are available to take care of it.
Will you be doing that also again?
It's recorded. I probably won't do it again until maybe next year.
Okay.
Um, but my reason for recording these is so that I can get it all out and cover as much base as possible.
Okay, the reason why I'm asking you that is because, I went away to Florida, you know,
Hmm.
this week. And so I was thinking by January, I have something set up, maybe
Yeah. Well,
for
maybe
this.
you wanna, you can DM me and we can set up a consultation. We can design your program and go ahead and work now to make sure that grants are in place by then. You
Because
don't
they,
have to wait. You can
oh,
start now so you can be ready.
and the reason why I'm asking you that also is because they're doing new development. So I was wondering, maybe I can get in on the ground floor with this,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Anytime that something new is happening, that is
Yeah,
a great opportunity for you to go in because the way that the community sees it, you're solving a community problem. So you
right,
probably have a heart for people, a heart for the community, and you can do it. And the money is available to help you do it, but you got to
right.
get started.
Okay, so I'll DM you.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Other questions? All right, y'all. Take a look at these grants. You can pull the questions, pull as much as you want, because when we get here on Wednesday, I'm going to help you walk through them. We're going to get as much done as we can during the time that we have. All right, y'all. All right,
Yes, yes.
y'all. Take care. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see y'all on Wednesday.
Okay, thank you again.
All right.
Okay, bye. Okay.
Yes.